The Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, recently spoke on the state and operational mode of Nigerian embassies globally and calling for improved conditions of service for heads of foreign missions. The Speaker was unhappy that the working condition of staff at the embassies encourages all forms of corruption as the workers devise all means, to survive, and this is to the detriment of Nigeria's image abroad. Now, he was speaking at a meeting with the Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama on how to fine-tune ways of the embassies. Now, this has led to a report, which was carried out by the National Association of Sea Dogs. They commissioned a report on the situation of these embassies, and that report is ready. We have joining us this morning Abiola Owoaje, the president of the National Association of Sea Dogs. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. Well, looking at this issue is something that should be of concern. Our embassies outside the country, as a Nigerian, what the embassy in any of the countries is doing will affect me indirectly. Maybe one day either I go to that country or in another country. If it's a report that's not good, emanates from there, it will definitely affect me as a Nigerian. Now, this report, tell us, how did you go about it? What is happening from your study?
Okay, thank you for having me. Well, we have actually been doing quite a lot of different types of advocacy surrounding citizenship outside of Nigeria. We have branches in all the continents abroad, in Europe, US, and so on and so forth. So what we've done is that we've noticed from a lot of feedback from Nigerian citizens in these foreign countries about the way they have the experiences that they've had with the embassies and so on, which initiated this thought to actually look at what's been happening with the embassies. And this was before the National Assembly's own...
before the meeting you held. Yeah.
So it was just coincidental that it happens just...
So that means it's actually an issue that should be put out. What has that study found out, Mr. Owoaje?
So with the study that we carried out, we found out that a lot of the feedback that we got was a common theme in all the responses that we got was that there's a lot of infrastructural decay. There's a lot of issues with staffing and also with the customer services that people receive. In short, the kind of services that one will expect from their own country's embassy or consulate when they need those services abroad. Some of these are lacking, and a lot of the people who responded to our survey gave that indication that there's a lot more that needs to be done in that regard.
How many countries did we look at? Is it all the embassies? Were you able to cover all, or the respondents are from, you selected them from different... How did you go about?
Yes, they were selected from different countries. We used the US, Ireland, UK, countries in Europe, and we also did South Africa, Australia, and Japan.
So in all of these countries, the recurring issue has to do with infrastructure decay, issue of staffing, customer services. I mean, Nigerians to Nigerians this time now, not still being able to get the kind of, support in a strange man's land. But what have we tried to find out what exactly the issues that led to all of this? Is it issue of funding? Is it issue of corruption? Did you do some, well, I don't know if you did some checks too with the embassies or just from those who receive services from them?
Well, we did, it's a combination of everything really, because what's happening here is that you get feedback from staff there saying, look, this is obviously they are anonymous feedback that we get from them, which indicates the kind of service conditions that they're working under. A lot of it has to do with funding from the central government itself, and also the fact that there's some lack of training for the staff themselves, because when you go there, the way the staff will deal with you, you see that they need to improve on staff training on how to deal with the public and so on. And it's almost like people are there to beg for favors rather than them being there to serve the citizens of the country. Then aside from that, even when it comes to some of the processes that are there, you notice that some of the processes leave a lot of room for corruption to take place. For example, when it comes to either renewing your visa or if your visa has expired, because we had discussions with people who need to renew their passport and things like that, and they talked about the experiences that they go through, which you realize that sometimes some people may have paid out of the normal prescribed fees and so on for them to get what they need to get from the embassies.
Now, what are the recommendations, that you're putting forward in that report? I'm sure there's an aspect, because these are the challenges. We also need to be able to say these are the solutions that you think can help. Because I'm also looking at a situation whereby this may not only be affecting Nigerians, because other foreigners probably are either married to Nigerians or who also get the same kind of treatment. And when somebody is angry, no matter the kind of training you get, sometimes you forget your training. Because I see a sense of officials who are there annoyed about their current situation, and when you go there, they won't just, they're already angry. So what recommendations is the report putting forward?
Well, we have spoken about what the findings are, and therefore we looked at areas which can do with some improvement. Most importantly, the infrastructure itself. Because when you go into some of these embassies, and I've been there a few times myself, many countries outside of the country, and you see that it's a lot different from if you go to other foreign embassies in terms of the ambience and the look. It's less welcoming to people.
So in your mind, you don't want to go to a Nigerian embassy. You'd have just preferred to go to other ones.
So and then when you go there, you are already stressed with whatever issue that you need to resolve, and you go there and you get more stress from that. It's not helpful. I would feel that a lot of training needs to be done with the staff, and the embassies need to be really, really supported in terms of funding for them.
Now, are we also relating with anti-corruption agencies? Because we may have cases where we actually have funds being released for infrastructure development, for other cases or other issues that may be in the budget from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And these things end up not being done because, like we have CSOs here who monitor a lot of things, but outside Nigeria, we may not have this kind of monitoring mechanism. Are you also, working or sending this, or how you also work with anti-corruption agencies to look into some of these funding-related issues that may actually have been approved and the work not done?
So the organization, NAS, has partnered with EFCC in the past and so on, but not on this particular project itself. But what we are doing is that we are raising out issues of concern, of which we expect that government agencies that we've invited to have a look at this document will be able to pick on it and then follow through on the areas that they need to address in the document.
So where and when will this report be made available to the public so that we can also look at it and see the work you've done? Where, when will it be released?
We're having a public launch of the report this morning at 10 o'clock. Yes, this morning at 10 o'clock at Chelsea Hotel in the business district in Abuja here.
All right. So for those of us who may be interested in finding out what the National Association of Sea Dogs has done with a study commission to look at the situation in Nigerian embassies, find your way 10 a.m. at Chelsea Hotel, you said?
Chelsea Hotel.
That's at Central Business District.
Yes.
I must thank you very much indeed, Mr. Abiola Owoaje. That's the word. Yeah. Thank you very much. He is the president of National Association of Sea Dogs. He's joined us this morning to look at, to tell us about a study carried out on Nigerian embassies. We really want to see the other things that may not have been, said this morning. All right, up next we have phytomedicine. Okay, entertainment and lifestyle.